All right, I want to welcome everybody on behalf of Feisty Media and Hoka. We are Feisty Media. We are a women's sports and health media company, and you can get some more information at the start. And you can also, if you love these here for the women's race shirts, we have some stylish larges left. And I want to thank Hoka for giving us this venue, supplying the food, bringing everybody. Thank you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hear from our IRONMAN Foundation and local athletes. Yes, you can come. Let's bring them up. Come on and sit down, and we will introduce you. And then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to hear from our pro athletes. So I need Vic. I need Danae. I need Mel. I need Becca. All to come on up. Come on. Woo! All right. It was a long day yesterday. All right. I think to start out, we all need to start by, it is Vic's birthday today. Woo! So on 3, let's all say happy birthday. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday.
Oh, the best part is I got to do the race yesterday when I was so much younger.
Oh, we have a cake for you too.
Oh my gosh, is it a Martin gel? Oh, thanks, guys. Do you have water, ice, and mortal for me to wash it down? Thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to hear from our, we're going to eat our cake. We're going to hear from our IRONMAN Foundation athletes and our local Hawaii athletes and about Vic. So we have Victoria Brumfield here, who's the USAT CEO and was an IRONMAN Foundation athlete. And let's start with you, Vic. It was your first Kona. Did it live up to expectations?
Oh, it exceeded it in every way. It was so magical. It really was. And I mean, look, the island is incredible, and the energy of having everybody from the sport here together and just the enthusiasm of all the women who've worked so hard to get here. That was incredibly special, but also the experience that IRONMAN curated was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I was saying I've never been married, but it kind of felt like I was at my endurance wedding. It was just like everywhere I went, there was carpet rolled out and everybody was handing things to me and treating me like royalty. And it was so special. I loved it. And even going from aid station to aid station, I was telling Julie, it wasn't just about my normal routine of getting from one point to another. It was that I knew when I got there that the volunteers would make me feel loved. And it was like that every step of the way, with exception of the swim course where I did not feel loved.
I was going to ask you, I heard you finish from down the street, but I didn't see you finish. What was that feeling like to finally come down that finish line after all the training?
It's so magical what your body does when you know the finish line is in sight. And it's, the whole run, there were highs and lows, and I just kept telling myself, no matter how good or how bad it feels, it won't last. And you have that ping-ponging pain, right? Like it's in one side, and then you're like, okay, just breathe into it, and it goes away. But then all of a sudden, the other side hurts, and you're always struggling throughout the event with different highs and lows. But when I made that turn onto Elite E Drive, I felt like I could have run a 6-minute mile. Like I felt so lifted.
Did you run a 6-minute mile?
It felt like it. I think it was a 13-minute mile, but I felt so fast. And it was really special. And the crowds that are out there, I can't believe they stayed up that late. I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was in the running in the dark for 7 hours. I kept asking volunteers, I'm like, is it midnight yet? It was so hard being out there in the dark, but you didn't feel any of that when you got to the finish line. It just felt illuminated and energetic and just special in a way that I don't think I've ever experienced at a finish line before.
I'm going to ask each of you this, but I feel like we just heard about your high. So what was your low point?
It's interesting. There were a lot of challenges. I don't know if I'd call them lows, because every one of them, my girlfriend Brenda that I'm here with, we just kept saying that whatever is given to us is what we need to experience. And so I will say the swim was much more challenging than I had expected. And I just used it as an opportunity to practice Cherie, who was just put into the Hall of Fame, her mantra of calm, committed, courageous. And I did that rhythm as I swam. And so while that was a low point and that it was hard, it was so actualizing to know that I could calm myself and experience it and still finish and feel good. And I had a lot of those moments throughout the whole race where, like a low point is I've been having a hip flexor issue, but it held off until mile 100. And that was just such a gift, right? That I could pedal for 100 miles without that pain. And on the run, it was just knowing that, I talked to as many people as I could. But then when I got to the energy lab, I had to go totally inward. I wasn't even talking to the aid station people. I was just pointing at them. I was like, you soup. But I think Julie Moss said this really well, is that sometimes you need to go inside and internalize to recharge. And I felt fully recharged. And when I went back out on the Queen K, like I just knew I was going to be able to finish. And it was really magical. So I would say that the low points were, they always ended up being the most memorable highs because I worked through them.
That was very insightful, I feel like. Yeah. I think everybody who raced yesterday, whether they finished or not, probably had that experience. So before we moved on, before the race, you did tell me that you always make friends on the run. Did you make new friends on the run?
No, because you women are all locked in and nobody wants a friend. I tried. I also was in the very last age group, so I didn't start until 740, and I was slower of that group, and so it was hard to find a group of people because it was definitely much more spread out. The good news is I didn't get any penalties for drafting, which I did Lake Placid and got a 5-minute penalty and had to yell at everybody that went by, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. But I didn't get any penalties this time because I was alone the whole time.
All right. Well, congratulations, Vic, on your first Kona.
Thanks.
All right. And next up, we have Danae Madamba, one of our local Hawaii athletes. I don't know if everybody knows how the Hawaii lottery program works. Do you want to just explain it very briefly?
You just apply and then they tell you that you got it. And then you're like happy and sad at the same time. But this is the second time I got the lottery. So I did it in 2022. So it's different coming from somebody that didn't actually earn it. I mean, you earned it. Earned it. But, I didn't get a first place in my age group somewhere. But I did really good on both times. So I'm pretty happy.
And I do know, though, that you have raced world championships like in Lottie. You've raced the Boston.
Those, though. See, so I'm more of the half earner.
I was just, you've raced all over the world. What is it like doing a world championship in Hawaii with friends and family? I mean, is it different?
Yes, it's great. I had so much, I started triathlon. I mean, I did my first Ironman when I was 58.
Oh, wow.
So just to be able to do this and have, it was like, you know what I mean? And have all my friends with me is great. And they're close by so they could make it. Oh. So my husband puts up with all my stuff, but it's really nice that they're all here with me.
And it was a hot day. Did you feel like you had a local advantage?
I didn't actually feel hot. I know. You know what? I honestly had a really good race. I had some moments that of course, like that we have, but they really, I just kept saying, just keep going. You're okay. Just keep going. I really, it was smooth other than the swim. That was rough. The swim was not what I expected.
That's what you're all saying. Yeah. I mean, it looked lovely to watch.
I swim here a lot. And it was rough for me.
I know you just said, obviously, that you started at 58, but the 60 to 64 age group had 80 women in it. It is getting big and competitive.
Competitive, very competitive.
I'll
be 65 next year.
Oh, so
I was at the end. So I'm going to win everything next year. Because I always compare my time to the 65-year-olds and see how it's going to.
Do you feel it feels like there are more and more women doing this? We had the first ever 80-year-old finish yesterday. If you saw it, it was crazy.
And the 70s is so competitive. They're fast. 13 something.
I have news for you. You are part of that. You are also an inspiration to women, and you're
get faster.
You have to get faster.
That's the thing, I got faster this time from the last time. So
excellent. I was going to say, do you have any advice for, women who are in their 40s or 50s and want to keep doing it, want to, keep racing into their 60s, 70s, 80s? What have you learned?
Well, I started when I was 58.
Right.
I mean, a little bit before that. So I can only get faster, right? I mean, in a way. I mean, I can't say because when I was 40, I wasn't doing this or
Sure.
50. So,
What got you started?
I was 50 years old. My mom is 69 and she passed away. And I was like, oh, I think I better do something. And so I just started doing little stuff like 10Ks and stuff like that. And then I saw Ironman on I think they were showing the Ironman. I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I literally, that's how it got into my brain. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And I went and did Switzerland. I travel a lot. And so I just do things abroad. And I went to Switzerland and did my first Ironman. I signed up and I'm like, oh shit, game on.
How much time did you give yourself between sign up and?
No, I hired a coach.
Oh, good.
I didn't go in there blind. I have a coach that's been with me all this time. So.
Amazing. So tell us, like we asked Vic, what was your high? What was your low?
High, of course, is finishing. I mean, I felt so strong in the end. Like the last 4 or 5 miles was, I just couldn't wait to see my friends. I'm like, oh, where are they? So that part was good. I don't know. Mile 14 on the run. It's about my low 14 to 16 was pretty much, oh my God. And I kept walking. I walked a little. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So I tried not to walk at all. Like, I just was wanting to finish already. But I was really, really, really nervous for the last 2 weeks. I felt like I was undertrained maybe, or I was questioning my abilities. And I actually had a really good time. You know what I mean? Like I did better than I expected. But like I said, I really was questioning my everything. My coach is like, no, you're okay. So I was like a nervous wreck.
Oh man. I think there's probably some athletes here who can relate to that too. So there's not.
My friends all know how I was. I was a mess. Like I just couldn't shake it.
Well,
so
you
I got in the water. Yeah. And then it was gone. Finally.
All right. Congratulations today. And next up, we have another local athlete, Mel Selvage. On your Hoka application or Hoka local athlete application, you wrote that you needed a big goal, and this one seemed really big. Was it big enough?
Too big. I just started triathlon this year, so I'm like a back of the pack newbie, and I qualified at Cairns because anybody that wanted to go could, basically. And knowing that Ironman had made this change and that the only way I'd ever qualify again would be if I got a spot in the lottery, I took it even though I was already overtrained and there really wasn't a whole lot of time to like boot up and do it again. So it was the second one was like harder than the first for that reason, but it was amazing. I didn't know how to ride a bike with like clip-in pedals at the start of this. So it's been a big, commitment to learning. And that's not going to put me on the podium. That just was to get me across the finish line, which I did.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
You said you needed a big goal because you were going through a lot personally, right? And you wanted something to move forward. Did you kind of find that in Ironman training?
So there was a lot of hard that I couldn't control, and I needed to make myself really busy, I think, when I started this. And, Ironman's a kind of hard that you can control and makes you feel strong and takes up a year of your life. So at least you get to the end of another year and some time passes and you can be in a different place. So it's been an amazing year. And I listened to your podcast or clip on Instagram the other day talking about how much time it takes up out of your life and how it's nice to have lots of options for women besides just Ironman. It's been a challenge too, it's been lonely, to spend that kind of time on a bike, and it takes a lot of time. Everyone here knows, right? So I'm ready to re-enter society now, but it's been incredible.
You're going to re-enter society.
I mean, if you don't have a training group, it's a lot of time on your bike. Yeah.
You have stand-up paddleboarded like between the islands. You summited El Capitan. Those are obviously like different challenges, but they are also challenges. What did you bring over from that to this?
You know, there are things that take a long time, you know, and those things you have to finish, you know, when you're 4 days up El Capitan on a 7-day ascent, like the last 3 days aren't optional. You have to finish. You know, when you're
There's
in the
like
middle
no
of the
other way
ocean,
down. Yeah.
if you have a chase boat, you know, I guess you can get on your boat, but you have to finish. And so I actually had a pretty hard race yesterday, and I dropped my salt coming out of T1, and I just had cramps all day on the bike. And so I just had to adjust my game plan because I was here to finish, not to beat anybody else. So, you know, it's a mindset. I think that, you know, suffering is like a learned skill, kind of surviving it, you know.
Sure.
So it definitely made a difference, right? That it wasn't my first big, hard physical challenge.
And what were your kind of highs and lows? I mean, low would be dropping your salt and nutrition. That's a low. What was your
Truly.
high out there?
You know, I can point to a couple on the race, but it was the year, it was the training, it was the anticipation. I don't know if anybody else did this, but I cried all week long here. Like everything
There's a lot of nodding,
made me
yes.
cry.
Yeah.
I got to meet my hero, Julie Moss. I just want to say I learned about triathlon when I was 9 years old, watching the Wide World of Sports on my grandma's TV. And Ironman wasn't 100 races, it was one race. It was this race. And it was one of the only times where we knew about it because of a woman, right? And it's taken me, I can't even do the math, a lot of years since then. So like, and I have to shout out Dan Gampon.
Back there somewhere.
Like, so he made all the Hawaii athletes feel so special. And I'm the only athlete that I know of here from Maui, and I wouldn't have known anyone. And he hooked us all up with each other. So I've had community here. It's been, and they're all super badass, have been at this for a long time and really accomplished. And it's just been the most amazing week. So it was like, if I didn't even start the swim, it was still going to be incredible. But my high point came early. Did anybody else see the dolphins on the swim?
Yes.
I got so off course. I was just swimming with the dolphins, and eventually I looked up and I was like, "Oh, geez, I've got to go that way." But it was worth it. It was so cool. And then I was on the struggle bus all day long. But when I had planned, okay, because I listened to Julie's talk, I was walking up Palani like I'm not going to try and run it. And I walked up it with the 80-year-old competitor, and she was having a hard time. And she was like, her clock started well ahead of my clock. So I thought, gosh, I don't know if she's going to make it. I sure hope she does. And she did.
She did. Yeah.
So cool. Like, I'm stoked about the back end of the race as the front end. That's really cool. So she looked amazing. So.
Well, congratulations
Thank you.
on your first Kona, on this year, on everything.
Thank you.
You were telling me a little amnesia. Are you going to do it again now, or is it a?
I will never qualify again unless Ironman changes their policy. I just want to be really clear about that. But there's the lottery. That's a possibility. But to be able, I've never been in an all women's sporting event that was about extraordinary achievement, like where I felt like I couldn't even carry the sneakers of half the gals here. It's extraordinary, and it's it's been so cool that I got to be part of this as it is now, and hopefully there'll be something else like this, if not Kona, in the future.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, before we wrap up, all right, here's my, now that you guys have, I know you've done it twice. This is both your first times. What is your tip then for other women who are doing Kona for the first time?
Get a coach.
You have to think about it. Now you have to give it. Yeah.
I need it. You need help. You need your friends and the whole community to help you, because you can't do it alone. I needed my coach. I needed my husband, all my friends that helped me train, and all my friends helped me train on this. And I don't think I could have done it without them.
Yeah. So you need a whole crew.
You need the whole, and a lot of money. I mean, it's kind of true.
Yeah, it helps. You know. Big is your advice to also be
So
rich.
assuming you have a coach and a crew and a lot of money, my advice based on my experience as somebody who wasn't here to get a placing, I was here to experience it, is just enjoy every moment, because it really is so special and unlike anything else I've ever done.
Amazing.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah, I don't know if my path would line up with anyone else's, but this is my first year doing triathlon, but this is like after a lifetime of doing sport. Like, it takes a lot of buildup, I think, to get the stuff and learn the skills and get the stamina and all of it. So start small and be patient, and you guys are doing an awesome job of creating those.
You didn't start small, is what she
Well,
said. Yeah.
no, I started with a 5K, right? Like, I maybe didn't start small in triathlon, but it's been years and years of like building up the,
Awesome.
It helps if you already do some of the sports.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so my boyfriend's here and we've been learning, well, I swam as a kid and he's been learning to swim as an adult. And it's people that have to learn how to swim from scratch as an adult. It's a tough hill. I'm seeing all these nodding heads right now, right? So there's like, if you've already done the sports, it's a little easier to put it together. But, it's be patient, and take your time, get your coach, learn all the things. Yeah.
I think that's great advice. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. And congratulations. And congratulations to everyone. I know we have a lot of athletes here who started, who finished. If you got out there, congratulations. It was a tough day. So we are going to take a quick break. I believe there should be desserts out soon. And then we are going to come back for our pro athletes after you have dessert. Have some amazing athletes joining us. We have Olympic gold medalist Gwen Jorgensen, who is at her first Kona. And we have 5-time Ironman World Champion, 5-time 70.3 World Champion, Daniela Ryf, who is doing commentary. And then we have our 3-time 70.3 World Champion, who was racing yesterday, Taylor Knibb. I feel like we're going to start Taylor. Everyone wants to know. First and foremost, the question I feel like everyone wants, are you okay? How are you feeling today? Did you recover last night?
I don't think you recover in a night from that. So, yeah, I guess I'm as good as I can be. And I just need to respect my body the next 6 months.
Sure, yeah. Can you walk us? I mean, I know we were talking, Julie was talking to you at the finish line. We were all we're watching on the big screen. What was going through your head? Can you walk us through what happened out there and how it went down? Or do you not remember?
Well, at what point do you want to, how early do you want to start the day?
Why don't you give us an overview of what happened out there?
Maybe we just start with the run.
Okay.
And I don't know if Max here from Hoka, but he kindly told me at 30.44K on my watch, which that's about 12K to the finish line, that I just had 10K left. He was actually more accurate than I was, because my first thought was I have 12K left. And then at that point, I kind of knew it was getting tough. And I was doing the math in my head. And I was like, okay, if you just run 4:30s, you'll be good.
Kilometers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, 20 seconds a K, like to Solveig. And then I walked an aid station. I realized I lost way too much time in that. And I was like, if you keep walking, you might not get running again. So I was like, just have no regrets. You don't want to get second. And I did not get second.
All right.
Yes.
I know you went through a lot of medical tests and stuff yesterday. I assume you just overheated, right?
Yes.
Just overheated. Yes, sorry.
All my other measurements were apparently impeccable, except for my core body temperature. So I got to have that stuck up my butt, which is quite an experience. I'm not sure what the worst part of yesterday was. There were a lot of highlights.
Okay.
With about 15 people around, by the way, and you have to go an inch in. So I learned a lot yesterday, and I had to stay in because you have to watch the core temperature go down. So, yes, lots learned, but guess what? It's one thing I need to fix. And so, like, I think that's fun to have that information because learn and grow and be better next time. And you can't do that without acknowledging how you fell short.
Sure. There you go. We'll move it to Daniela now for you, so you can take a break. Daniela, I heard you on the commentary.
With Taylor. I'm just so
I
entertained.
know I have so many more questions, but I feel like not for public. I heard you on the commentary as Lucy was collapsing first, and then and you know that was shocking. And then we saw Taylor, and I mean Chelsea dropped out. There was just so. Was it the wildest race you've ever seen? I felt like it was a crazy race. In your history of racing, how crazy was that race?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I could watch that many Ironman World Championships because normally I was in there. But yeah, it was absolutely crazy. The drama out there, also heartbreaking, of course. You want them to succeed, and they put so much hard work into it. And I definitely thought, things are looking good. And then it's just, you get surprised. But that's what racing is about here. And you just really don't know. And I felt really with Taylor because pretty much at the same spot is where I also had a bad moment one day, 2014, where I had to let Rinny go. And yeah, it's tough moments, but you learn so much from these moments. And I'm sure she will be back and learn from it, and then even be faster than what we saw yesterday.
Obviously, you're commenting on TV. But is there anything in that moment you want to say to Lucy or to Taylor, like, oh, just do X thing?
I mean, yeah, you want to say like, just keep going. But I mean, of course they tried. And I was also looking how they put the ice, on their bodies, and you just hope that they can recover from it. But it is tough. And I think once you overheat, I've been there 2 years ago where I also walked quite a bit out there quite early on the run, and it's just so brutal. And I mean, there's not really much you can do. You just have to try to cool yourself down, and also, I mean, if you want to win the race, you have to try to keep pushing, and that's where it just shows that this sport is it's on the limit, and sometimes you have to go over the limit to give your try and try to win.
Sure. I just started thinking about limits in there in my head and I got distracted. Sorry. But when you were racing, I mean, obviously, like you said, you had to walk sometimes. Did you ever have other races like that where you're like, oh no, I'm at my, like, this is the limit, I just went past it? Or does that just sort of end badly?
I mean, I had some races where I felt like I was lucky not to see the power I probably pushed, because I would have been scared that I would, not make it to the finish. But in the end, it's really about looking after yourself. And I think if we also compare, like, I never had to run shoulder to shoulder to someone. I think that's a whole different thing. They pushed each other so hard. If you're alone and you just focus on yourself, to be honest, it's much easier. You can just listen to yourself. But when you then also have someone next to you, it just brings you, you want to win. You're there for the win. And that's, I always tried to go as hard as I could on the bike. So I never had to run next to someone shoulder to shoulder. That was also always my motivation to go hard on the bike.
That makes sense. Well, let's hear from Gwen. This was your first Kona experience. It's quite the one to watch. Did that make you want to do it or never?
The race was super impressive, but it did not inspire me to want to do one. Being out there, it was absolutely brutal. I have a completely new respect for these athletes. And, I've trained with Taylor. I've seen her in training. I live in the same city as her. And just watching that it gave me a lot of respect for her and the other athletes out there.
And what did you do during the day? Were you spectating it? Because when you're spectating, you're like, man, spectating is hard. Is it different for you spectating or as an athlete?
Well, normally I say the spectator has a harder job, but yesterday, definitely the athletes did. So I got to be in an air-conditioned place for the swim and the bike. And then out on the run, I was doing a bunch of efforts trying to follow Patrick as he was giving splits to Taylor, which was actually really difficult. It was the hardest workout of the week.
Obviously this week you've also got to see a lot of age group athletes, got to do a lot of events. What is it like because in world triathlon racing, you don't race with age groupers, right? So out here getting to, see the age groupers kind of racing side by side with the pros. What do you think about that? Do you want to, is it aspiring, or would you rather stay in your own race?
Being here, leading up into the race was super cool. Just seeing all the events and how the community was involved and people just coming out to things like this before the race. I was a bit shocked at how many people wanted to do things. And I thought it was super cool just how people were getting out there and in the environment and in the community. So that was fun.
Awesome. And Taylor, out there with all the age groupers, were people yelling at you while you were running? Were you hearing them? Do they cheer you on?
Well, on the bike, when we turn around from Javi, then you start to get that energy. I'm actually realizing that by the time, I don't think I was even noticing that on the Queen K on the way back. And that was when I would have,
on the run, you weren't noticing it.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay. Fair.
Sorry. It gets very locked in tunnel vision.
What parts do you remember? I actually mentioned obviously running shoulder to shoulder. What is that like, when you're both going so hard shoulder to shoulder? Is it fun or not?
Well, honestly, and people can tell me I'm wrong in retrospect, it didn't, I felt like I was just trying to run my race and run my pace. And I was very shocked to come up on Lucy again, because I figured once you pass me on Polani, well, there she goes. Title number 2, congrats. I was like, what? But then she wasn't losing time. And I was like, ooh, she's hurting. That was, you could just see that. And then running next to her, I thought it was around 21 or 22K. That's half marathon for Americans. And I thought it was kind of ironic because you do know we have the same coach, but we do nothing together and we do all different workouts. And so I thought it was kind of ironic how somehow he got us to the same place at the same time. Now he had a rough day yesterday. I think he may have had the worst day.
Oh no.
And then he flies back with 2 red eyes. So that's what he gets. But
were you getting, she said obviously people were running around giving splits. Were you getting splits? Did you know what was happening? We've heard mixed kind of reports from the pros if they knew what was happening out there.
Well, so what do you mean by what was happening?
That Lucy, you were gaining time on Lucy, or she was falling back behind you. Did you know that was happening?
Well, so we entered the energy lab kind of together at that aid station. I think that's where she fell off. And then, not entered the energy lab. It was near the gas station. And then at the turnaround, which really isn't that far away, 3-4K, I had 2 minutes on her. And I was like, ooh. And then as I was like exiting the energy lab, I saw Reese on a bike going down into the energy lab. And I'm like, there is only one reason why he's going down there. And so like I kind of knew before anyone told me, but you just kind of, because you're not allowed down there. So you're only going down there if there's something bad that's happened. But actually Dan's wife was watching the race and she gave him a call. Dan's our coach. Separate teams. And she's like, you need to pull Lucy. She's looking awful. And so Lucy told me this morning. But Dan couldn't get in. Reese figured out how to get in. So Dan sent a medical car down to her. Like he sent a car, but so it was all there when it happened. But
oh, interesting. I didn't realize you couldn't. I mean, I guess, yeah, unless something bad happens, you can't get down in there.
Yeah. So it's tough.
So you were still, I mean, you were with it enough at that point, obviously. And I mean, from our perspective, you guys all looked like you were still running. You all look amazing. So it's sometimes hard to know what's going on internally. So,
well, yeah. And I wasn't really paying attention at that point. Like at a certain point, you just stop looking at your watch and it's just like, you got to race it. And I thought like, and that's probably the danger. Like, sure. And that's where I really respect Lucy because like she's a racer and I love to race too. And that's when you put two of them together, might not be great. Sometimes there'll be good times. Sometimes it'll be like yesterday, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh. All right. Daniela, I mean, you've been here so many times, and I will say, and I kept being like, is it just my memory? It feels hotter. It feels more humid. And then obviously it was a very tough day for a lot of people. Was it hotter? Was it more humid? Were the conditions tougher yesterday? Or is it just kind of the island's always, it's going to deliver what it delivers?
Well, I was sweating a lot yesterday and I was also just standing around talking. So yeah, it was definitely very warm. And I think it was even warmer outside than it was here in town. That's what I've heard. But I think it's just that humidity that makes it so hard. Then we had the rain in the morning, which just brings out even more when then you have the sun coming in. But I love what Taylor said, that she wouldn't change a thing. And I think that's the best attitude. You just have to go hard and try. And you don't want to have any regrets. I think that's the worst to have if you have regrets. And so it was definitely a tough, really, really tough day.
Obviously Taylor is also going to, we talked a lot about like lessons learned and move forward. How many times do you feel like it took you before you like nailed it here? How many times of like learning lessons before you really were like, man, I knocked that one out of the park?
Yeah, I would say it took me, it was 1 year, but also 1.5 years. But I think that was only your third Ironman, right? So it took me more Ironmans than that to actually nail it. So I did 3 in the 2014, and then I think I did 3. So on my 6th Ironman, I nailed it. So next one will be good.
All right, Taylor, what lessons do you think you learned that you're going to carry forward now?
Well, there are a lot of lessons. That's a very blank answer. I think if you had told Lucy or I, if you told Lucy you need to run a 2:59:45, probably I haven't done the math, but someone told me if I'd run a 3:01 marathon, I would have won it. I don't think I would have believed him coming off the bike, but I think like the race is always going to have surprises. And so you just never know what's going to happen. And I do like one of the lessons I learned is like, I really respect this race and I really love this race and I want to come back. Vic is here and I feel sorry. Well, yeah, I was like, oh, well, this is the last time and then I'll focus on LA and then I'll come back in 2029. But I think I have to come back next year first. Sorry. Don't worry, we'll mix it up. You're like, oh. Yes, but yeah, so I think, and just, there's a lot I did right. There's a lot I can improve upon. And so, yes, I'm excited to keep learning and
sure.
Yes.
You're going to, take care of your health. Like you said, you really got to watch the heat for the next 6 months, right?
Yes, so I probably will have to pull out of 2 of my races at the end of the season. So it's what it is. But like, that's also where I hope my career's long. And so, cause like to be able to do things, to be able to learn things. I don't think I can race 3 Ironmans in a year and then go back to short course. So I have to play my cards right. We'll see. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll make every perfect decision, but that's not the aim. It's kind of like, how do you roll with it? How do you learn with it based on what you do? What do you do next? And that's almost more important.
And Gwen, obviously, you've come back from like a lot of different injuries, a lot of setbacks. I know you're kind of coming back from another surgery right now. Do you have advice about having a long career, coming back from these like setbacks, and kind of how to bounce back?
Injury, I think, is the, you know, really brutal part about sport. But for me, a lot of times when I have a setback, I get more motivated. It really shows me internally like what I want to do. Yeah, I had surgery a month or two ago, and when that happened, I really was like, it could have been a turning moment. Like I should retire. I'm, you know, 39. I'm very old for the sport, and I had the opposite effect of just, you know, I want to do this, and like it just was a really good internal reflection of what I want to accomplish. And I think, you know, we do a lot of hard things. I'm not doing Kona, so that's harder, I think, than what I've been going through. So if you guys can do Kona, you can get through an injury.
That's good advice. Yes, if you can do Kona, you can get through an injury. You kind of mentioned you guys live near each other. I know you don't train all the time together, but you do sometimes. What is it like having a group of people to support you, you know, in Boulder, a good squad? Does it help, you know, keep it fun, keep you going?
Yeah, I think it keeps you honest. And, you know, Taylor, when she shows up, I swim with her a few times a week. And, you know, I know she's always going to be pushing it. So I know that I'm going to get a really good workout in. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's a attitude of, you know, wanting to bring something to a group as well, and wanting to improve the group as a whole. And I think that makes it exciting and it makes everyone better.
And you're still having fun, right?
I am, yes, for sure. Taylor is too. She laughs and talks a lot.
Do you ever give Taylor advice about, you know, I'm not like,
she's always coming to me for advice. It's so weird. She calls me on the phone. It's like, what should I do in my Ironman?
And what do you tell her?
Go faster.
Okay, yeah.
No, I mean, Taylor, it's great. My husband manages Taylor, and she comes over for dinner, and she's always so lovely. She'll bring an orchid and play with the kids. And no, it's really nice to have just a good human in my life.
Awesome. Amazing.
Maybe I should start calling you up more. Be better, go faster. All good.
Easy advice. There were a lot of, you know, age groupers who also were not able to finish yesterday. It was a tough day. I think we're going to find out ultimately, you know, it was a pretty high DNF rate. What would you tell them to like about their accomplishment yesterday and how to kind of keep going?
Well, so earlier in the year, this might be disclosing too much.
Oh no.
I sent I sent a message to my team because so after San Francisco, I got second. And I asked them, how do you treat me differently when I win from when I don't win? Because I felt like there was just like, it's like crickets in the group chat versus like when I win, it's like all good. And so there's like a Buddhist philosophy of the second arrow. And so the first arrow is what the bad thing that happens to you, which is out of your control. But then the second arrow is your response to that. And so you get to determine if you're hit by the second arrow. And so how do you reframe it? What can you learn from it? How do you move on? I was talking to my psychologist probably 2 weeks ago about perfectionism, and it's very much rooted in shame because like the idea is that like if you think that you must be perfect in order to be loved, then like it's hard to admit versus if it's like, you know what, like I wasn't good enough on that day. Like you talk about surpassing limits, but I think you can't, right? Like you find your limit and that's the limit. And having the privilege to find that, I mean, that's pretty cool. But so then like it's one day, one race. I mean, just because if you had won the race, it doesn't mean your life's perfect. What we were talking about this before.
You do have to give her advice. Yeah, it seems like
it's just not me talking the whole time. I get yelled at for talking a lot during my
I can't
swim.
imagine. No. Yeah. No, that's great advice, right? You determine how you respond to something. Daniela, I mean, again, like we have a lot of age group athletes here, a lot of women who got on that start line yesterday and they had different experiences. What would you tell them? You know, you're kind of the queen of Kona. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, just keep trying. I mean, I've had injuries, and it's all about being patient, and that's not, I'm going over a bit. It's not easy. I definitely wouldn't call myself a patient person, and also you don't want to be too patient, because if then you start to not care anymore, right? So if you don't want to keep improving, then you also kind of, that seems like there's no goal. But in the end, it's all about keep trying, and yeah, keep believing in yourself and trying to find someone. I mean, actually, I had the pleasure, like Taylor's, how do you call him? Your no, yeah, what movement specialist? So she actually shared her movement specialist with me. He treated me last year here because I wasn't running anymore, and he fixed me. So yeah, she got a good team there, and I think, yeah, it's just about finding people who can help you, and sometimes, yeah, you might just have to look a bit further, and eventually you find someone who can actually help you fix the problem.
And what else do you have planned here on the island? That's what we're going to end with. Now that you're done with we'll ask each of you, but now that you're done with your duties, because you were commentating, are you going to enjoy the Hawaii?
I will. We're going to Oahu tomorrow, first time, and doing some surfing. Actually, I've never surfed in my life. I've just done bodyboard, how do you call it? Body surfing. Yeah. So yeah, just nice house on the beach and just do nothing. Really look forward to it. Yes.
All right. And Taylor, how are you going to, recover from this? Not like in life, like here. What else do you have planned in Hawaii?
A flight in 7 hours. Well, I have strict instructions to not stay in any sort of heat in any capacity right now. So I take my health very seriously. And so I hope Hawaii will always be here. And if I do the right things now, then hopefully I'll be back next year, and there'll be hopefully many more years where I can enjoy it.
Absolutely. And Gwen, I mean, I know this isn't a vacation, but what else do you have planned here?
I'm on the same flight as Taylor home to see my kids, but I really feel like this place is healing if you're not doing the Ironman. But like just being able to swim in the ocean and see the fish, and I hate swimming in a pool, but like this is so refreshing. The only thing I wanted to do today was get in the water, see some fish, see a dolphin, which I did. I was super excited. So I just think this place is pretty magical, and it's pretty cool to experience it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And let's congratulate all of them. Thank you.